Hi, it's Carol from charityglobal.com. And today I'm going to show you really quickly how to use the RAND crime cost calculator. We're going to be walking through it pretty quickly. So if you have any questions, make sure you email me at carol.wick@charityglobal.com. We're going to be posting this on our Facebook group and you can ask questions there. So let's get right to it. First of all, one of the most difficult things with the RAND cost of crime calculator is actually finding the data. And most domestic violence programs will tell me they can't find this data. Well, I'm going to give you a couple hints and walk you through a couple places that you can go online to find data for your community. Sometimes the best solution, though, is just to pick up the phone and call your local law enforcement officer. Usually they have one employee if it's a large organization. If not, a small organization might have a couple of people that do this, but it handles just information that they send to the FBI. And the FBI collects all of this data in what they call the Uniform Crime Report. So just so you know what we're looking for is we're going to be looking for domestic violence specific crimes that are committed in your community, as well as the number of law enforcement officers in that department. For the purpose of the example today, I'm just going to make some numbers up, but I'm going to show you after I make the numbers up how we're going to find those numbers. So first thing is when you go to the crime calculator, remember this instrument was designed to show when you change law enforcement, either add or subtract personnel, the change in the cost of crime. So we're actually going to delete those numbers, and then we're going to come down and look at only domestic violence crime. And while we do know that there are robberies and burglaries and larceny and vehicle theft associated with domestic violence, typically law enforcement does not track those crimes in that way. So we're going to just delete robbery, burglary, larceny, and motor vehicle theft from our crime calculator and focus on three numbers: murder, rape, and aggravated assault. Now, what I do is typically, and I'll show you an example here with the uniform crime data downloaded from Florida, I'm going to combine several categories. I combine murder and manslaughter, even though technically those are two different, statutorily different crimes. I also combine rape and fondling, aggravated assault, stalking, simple assault, threat, intimidation, and stalking. And we combine those into three different data sets. We go back to our crime calculator and we'll plug those numbers in. I'm just going to use the ones that they have in here. And then they have a dollar year adjustment that switches this from 2007 to 2010, that then gives us the number that we have here, which is in millions, 361 or $361,000 value per officer in related to domestic violence crime, but also $32 million in cost of crime. Now that's going to again be in your 2007 data. So what you want to do is go to the cost inflation calculator, which they give you the nice little link right up here under dollar adjustment. You're going to click on that, input the $32 million, click it from 2007 to 2020, and you'll get your information. Very quickly, how do we get some information about where we find the size of the police department? Two different places that you might be able to find that. One is governing.com. They have information where you can simply type in the city that you live in. For instance, I can type in Miami Beach and find out that Miami Beach has 394 officers. Some of this data is a little bit old, so you might be able to actually Google and find the information, but this is one data source. The other is, of course, the Uniform Crime Report, which is the FBI website. This is going to give you a lot of data, especially if you're struggling finding your data in your state. You can come here to the Crime Data Explorer, and there's all kinds of wonderful information that they collect. And every 6 months, law enforcement agencies are required to send the information, especially the UCR, and that does typically get broken out by domestic violence and sexual assaults. So you can pull the information there. One other quick resource that you can look at is the Crime Data Explorer. Now, this again is another area of uniform crime reports, and you can go down and actually look at your individual state. Um, and I'm just going to click on Florida because that's where Sharity is located. And you can see that there's all kinds of information here that you can pull up, including victim's relationship to offender, which is going to give you some information around domestic violence related crimes. So what we want to make sure that we can be able to do is to communicate in your local community, what are you spending on domestic violence related crime that essentially is not solving the problem. What we look at domestic violence data and conviction rates and reoffense rates, we know that merely arresting someone and letting them go typically is not an effective intervention. So, how can we start to look at the amount of money that we're already spending and reimagine how we could be changing the way that we use those dollars effectively in positive interventions that actually end intimate partner violence in our communities? So again, make sure you send me any questions you have, carol.wick@charityglobal.com, and I look forward to our next training video. Thank you.